Most of us treat light as a tool, an invisible medium that simply illuminates the things we actually want to look at. If we try to picture the light itself, we usually imagine it as a stream of tiny projectiles, trillions of microscopic bullets fired out of the sun, racing across 93 million miles of empty space. Nature occasionally provides a different vantage point. When sunlight filters through a small gap in a canopy of dense leaves, the diffraction splits the light. It stops being completely transparent. Airborne dust and perspective converge to create thick beams that look solid, almost architectural. Watching these beams closely reveals a strange visual paradox. The sunbeam appears as a completely static three-dimensional track, a continuous rail. Yet running along that very same static track, segmented pulses of energy continuously advance forward. The immediate instinct is to write this off as a glitch in our own hardware. It's easy to assume the static track is just perspective convergence, and the pulsing is simply retinal noise or a minor optical illusion created by an overtired visual system. This tension between the still track and the moving pulse maps onto the actual quantum structure of light. Holding both images at once, the continuous rail and the sequence of discrete, advancing pulses, reflects the underlying reality of the electromagnetic field. Quantum field theory describes the universe not as a collection of projectiles in a void, but as a series of fundamental, continuous fields stretching across all of space. That static track in a sunbeam is the electromagnetic field itself. It acts as a steady, vibrating foundation, a continuous sine wave. In physics, we call this a carrier wave. It exists in a state of pure potential, ready to hold information. A photon exists as an excitation, a traveling cluster of energy moving directly through the exact same medium that forms the track. These two features exist in a state of constant mutual creation. The static rail provides the predefined path that allows the pulse to move. As the pulse travels, its concentrated energy continuously re-excites the rail, preventing the entire channel from collapsing back into a dormant state. The medium and the signal are inseparable. The track is the field in a steady state, and the pulse is the field in a highly active state. A beam of light is a self-sustaining structure, maintained entirely by the steady flow of energy passing through it. Scaling this up to the physics of relativity makes the nature of that rail even stranger. To understand it, we have to look at how the universe operates from the perspective of an object moving at the absolute speed limit. Because a photon travels at the speed of light, it experiences zero proper time. Its internal clock never ticks. From the moment it is emitted to the moment it is absorbed, 0 seconds pass, and zero distance is crossed. Physicists Richard Feynman and John Ward used advanced mathematics to unpack how this is possible. Their work eventually fed into what is known as the transactional interpretation of quantum mechanics. They proposed a handshake across time. The sun sends an offer wave forward in time, while your absorbing eye sends a confirmation wave backward in time. These two waves interfere with each other, colliding to form a single connection. The path is instantly locked. When we stand on Earth, our clocks tell us that it took the light 8 minutes to travel from the sun to our eyes. But from the photon side of the equation, departing the sun and arriving at your retina are the exact same unified event. A beam of light doesn't travel through space. It is a completed four-dimensional bridge stretching across the solar system. The static track you see is physical proof that the sun and your eye were already engaged in a direct, timeless relationship. The handshake theory collapses the distance between source and receiver. Because the path is settled by a single zero-time exchange, the sun emitting light and the eye receiving it become co-defined ends of a single act. With the gap between source and observer removed, the geometry of seeing changes. If the eye and the light are one event, then looking into the structure of light becomes a form of introspection, the system turning to regard its own internal arrangement. This creates a tension with our daily lives. If reality is a totally connected, timeless, and static rail, why do we experience life as a linear, incomplete journey, moving forward through time? If the unbroken field is the static track, our localized, embodied perspective is the pulse. Consciousness acts as the moving excitation, the mechanism through which a static universe explores its own structure. This creates the conditions for a story. While the rail is tenseless and whole,
An embodied perspective encounters the universe sequentially. For discovery to feel like a real event in time, it requires the felt possibility of absence, a temporary forgetting of the connection that allows the return to feel like a new arrival. Our experience of time and discovery is the mechanism through which that static wholeness is tasted. We live as a pulse on the eternal rail, moving through individual tributaries of experience to recover the completeness that was present from the start.